All right, the property prequel, be in the know before you buy. Crossman.
It's Rams, how are you, mate?
Very well, very well. Another week. We're heading into the downhill now. We've passed halfway point of 2022. Really exciting. We had a really good discussion the last sort of fortnight, firstly around the interest rates and opportunities there for buyers. And then what about last week's ep, touching on the rental crisis, but also the opportunity for landlords. We spoke to Sean Carney there, the crew founder at 44 Home Property Management. Some killer tips in that one.
It was great. Thanks to Sean for coming in. Heaps of value in that one. If you haven't had a listen, please go and do, whether you're a tenant out there that's struggling in the current rental crisis, or if you're a landlord trying to capitalise on that critical shortage at the moment, and or trying to sort of buffer yourself against these constant interest rate rises, rather. So that was really good from Sean, and, some really good advice in there.
It was massive. So, we covered a lot. Specifically, we don't do much for tenants, but that one was a bit of a masterclass, wasn't it? Someone producing a resume, backstory, because you could only think how many applications they're getting just to prepare yourself coming into an application.
I actually spoke to a property manager post Sean's podcast, and they're a property manager in that Broadbeach area, and they look after predominantly apartments, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments. And she was telling me that in one of their recent open homes, they had 33 people. And I said, 2-bedroom unit in Broadbeach, what would it sort of be looking for? And she said, owner was sort of hoping for 1,200, but we're kind of landing in the 1,250 now with people paying rent in advance, and it blew me away.
Yeah.
It absolutely blew me away. I'm under a rock at Palm Beach in my own home, not realising what some of the rentals are in some of these more affluent and desirable buildings in really good pockets of Broadbeach that are, close to beach, close to shopping, close to restaurants, and that walkability. So that kind of was a bit of a reality check for me. You hear the stories, but when I actually heard that from her, it kind of blew me away. Yeah,
no, it's crazy. And we thought we'd pick up on a different trend this week in terms of this is going to be a fun one in terms of we had some really good feedback when we had a couple. They did the build. The crew from Style by Lou, Lisa, was on here, and she gave some killer tips when they were doing their development around interior design, and obviously had a few majority female sort of loving it, and something we don't. I mean, we've got no clue in the design space.
Absolutely no idea. Put that out there now, and happy to be told what to do by the professionals. So,
well, not just the absolute gun in this area, but also founder of Bungalow Home. We got Tracey Craig. So you'd be sleeping on the rock if you don't know Tracey, especially in sort of southeast Queensland. Some of the homes I've been through, it's anywhere from sort of units up to luxe homes. I've got a really good case study as well where I've actually seen her work pay off big time profit-wise for vendors. So this one's going to really target not only sellers and buyers, but also people. Everyone loves just knowing what's happening in the trends, right? And also, most of all, she's got a business that's done really well. So I'm sure she's going to share some key learnings there. So Tracey Craig from Bungalow Home, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys, for having me.
Firstly, Tracey, we always like to get a bit of a backstory. You're one of the OG migrators. You're from Sydney, but you did it before as cool.
Yeah, I think we are called the Mexicans, aren't we? I did. I migrated up here from Sydney back in 2001.
Okay.
So, I'm 21 years here now. I'm sort of nearly a Queenslander officially.
You're a local.
Yeah, I am. I am a local. I do barrack for Queensland in the state of origin.
Wow, okay.
I probably shouldn't admit that.
Oh, you're one of those, eh?
Yeah. I'm a turncoat, so I'm told. Love being here in Queensland, and, real estate, interiors and homes have always been my passion. So that's where I find myself in that field now.
2001 in Sydney, Tracey. What were you doing prior to sort of leaving Sydney before you sort of moved north?
Yeah, so I had a events and marketing business back then. So we just provided promotional staff and, trade show hosts and all of those sorts of things. And then we created a lot of events and just all, generally dealing with businesses who wanted to promote their business to the general market of whatever they may have been in, whatever industry they were in. Then I came up here and I was still running that company from here and got a little bored probably about 18, 19 years ago. Did my real estate license, sold real estate up here for a couple of years, and then got pregnant with my second child. And between running my own business and doing the heavy hours in real estate, it was just too much. So went back to just running my own company. I sold that probably about 5 or more years ago, and just probably 12 months before I sold that business, I was like, oh, I'm getting itchy feet. I want to do something different. And I started a homewares business here in Burleigh. Yeah, so I was running homewares out the front and the other business out the back. I started in a little 70 square metre industrial unit.
Wow.
And from there, it's just grown. I had a gentleman walk in one day, and it was never about property styling. It was always just selling homewares from Morocco, actually. We imported them from Morocco. And we had that boho kind of vibe going on, which was very popular about 6 years ago and still is in some areas now. But I had a gentleman walk in. He said, I love what you've done here with your shop. Can you come and style my home? I'm going to sell it. And actually, that was for McGrath.
Wow.
Yeah, they listed that property. It was the first one that we had ever done. And I believe once we styled it, it was quite a unique home. It was a like a triangle style home.
Yep.
And they had over 200 inspections just based on the photography. And when that gentleman sort of approached me to style, we had not thought of that as a business. And I sort of knocked him back a bit and went, oh, no, we don't do that. He's like, no, I really want you to do it. So I emptied out not only my own shop, I closed my shop down for a few weeks while we gave him our furniture. I took furniture from my own home, put it in there. It seems to be the starting point for a lot of property stylists. They take something from their own home. And it just was such a successful campaign for them. And I just thought, wow, it was not really big here on the Gold Coast back then. No one was really doing it.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah. And so it was so successful that we just went, wow, here's a bit of a break in the market. Let's go for it. Is that when the penny sort of dropped? You're like, actually, that was a fun experience. I might treat this. So fun.
Yeah, really.
It was so fun. In fact, the reason that we took the home on was because it had this incredible loft upstairs that was all painted white.
Sort of like a pitch.
Yeah, like a really pitched roof. And I just knew we could style it amazingly and take the most incredible photos of it. And so only for that room did we take the job on, because it was quite daunting at the time. I wasn't a property stylist. We had no idea, I mean, I've renovated my own homes. I've always had a keen interest in interiors, but we'd never styled a property for sale. So, having that responsibility on behalf of a vendor is there's a lot of pressure there. But it was so successful that we loved it. We created a particular photo up there, and it went viral over Pinterest, and still I see it shared so much over the socials these days, because loft style living at that point was really popular as well.
100%.
And from there it just grew. The next agent called, and the next agent called, and the next agent, and then it just blew up.
So what do you reckon time frame was, Tracey, from you obviously accepting from that gentleman to go and style the home? He styles the home, it goes to market, it gets beautifully photographed, goes online, 200 odd people come through. I'm assuming there was a good result selling-wise.
Yep.
At what point from that, say then, did you actually start thinking about, hang on, I'm actually onto something here. I can actually make a living, a business out of it? Was it the next day? Was it over a couple of weeks or months where you started to sort of just tinker in your own mind?
Yeah, I think after we did get that feedback from the agent of how successful their campaign had been because of the styling, because it was actually quite a difficult home. It had a granny flat downstairs, it had, living area in the middle area, some bedrooms upstairs, and then the loft. So if that home had have been left empty or just styled with just someone's normal furniture, it could have been quite hard for a potential buyer to understand the benefits of owning that home.
Yeah.
And so styling it to present the lifestyle that people are aspiring to was really important. And I think when they had that successful campaign, it probably was within a week or two of actually doing it, and knowing that we really enjoyed the experience as well, and what content we could create for our social media to represent our business. Initially, I just thought, this is a great way for us to put furniture in there and someone will come to my shop and buy some homewares. Great. But then when we realised, hang on, we can hire the furniture out, we'll still own that furniture, bring it back in 6 weeks' time and do it all again, that was the turning point.
So did it go from homewares business straight into that, or was it like a slow transition? Or do you still do the homewares now? Or
Well, it is completely evolved now. So back then, as I said, we were in a little 70 square metre warehouse. We're now in a 750 square metre warehouse with a massive showroom out the front. We're based in Bundall.
Right.
Okay.
We have a proper retail furniture showroom now. So
awesome.
because we also create a lot of furniture packages for people, a lot of interstaters or internationals are, purchasing property here on the Gold Coast. We create furniture packages for them. People want to come and touch and feel and sit on a lounge and make sure it's what they want before they purchase. And so now they can do that. If they see something on Instagram that they love that we've created, they come to us and we'll create it for them as well.
Just interested with what you said before, Tracey, around, you put a photo on Pinterest.
Yep.
Back when that first happened. We all know now the modern day social media, everything's on social. It's almost just floods your mind. There's so much content now. But how important or how much of a critical move was that for you at that time to leverage to where you are today on a platform like Pinterest? I'm assuming it wouldn't have had anywhere near the amount of eyeballs that our platforms actually get today. Was that really important at the time?
Absolutely. That was critical. For us, we actually posted the photo to our Instagram account, which I think at the time had maybe 5,000 to 10,000 followers. From there, we were consistent with obviously our posting, but that one image and then a couple afterwards, because we always focused on really good quality photography and the styling and just making everything perfect. That one photo just blew up, and we went pretty quickly from 5,000 up to about 50,000 followers on Instagram. And then from there, it quickly grew to over 100,000 followers. So, and that is what got us noticed with the agents. We sort of used a few of our campaign photos. We sent them out to, I think about, maybe 20 agents via email with our little brochure that we created, which was really pretty average at the time, let's face it. We were just starting out. And I think within 24 hours, I had a minimum of 10 agents ring and say, I've got a property. I could not believe the response. And from there, it just, then it really took off, and we knew. And
do you remember how you felt back then when you put that out? Because I guess for any prospective business owners who are listening, who are wondering should they take that leap of faith, and they might be really good at their trade or whatever they do, but they're unsure on how to actually leapfrog that into their own business. That's a big leap of faith. Shrams has done it and done it very, very well. But just because you're good at your craft doesn't mean you're a good business person either, does it? So tell us how you actually felt, like how that made you feel when all of a sudden the phone started ringing day after day getting jobs. You must have had a heap of energy.
It was so exciting. It was absolutely like just like a real win, because I guess as a business owner, and for us, I had come out of a marriage. I'd gone through a divorce. I walked away with a small amount of money, and after 20 years, you kind of go, and I'm this age, I'm 45 or whatever I was at the time, and I've got to start again. So I invested every cent out of that into this business, and it was all on the line.
You're all in.
Truth be told, I was all in.
Love that.
And if I had have gone down, I had kids, I had a mortgage, so it had to work. There was no other option. So to send that out there and then to do something, because I'm always a quality over quantity kind of person, so to put something out there like that and have a really good response, it was a boost to my personal confidence and going, okay, I've got this, I can do this on my own and I can get there. But also to start another successful business, and we'll hope that it was going to be successful. Even back then there was no guarantee. It was a constant risk, and the reinvestment for many years into that business, and still a risk today. But yes, that initial response to what we were doing when we were pretty much a no one in the industry, and we were going up against some pretty well-known brands at the time that had a little bit more of an established place in the property styling marketplace here, although it was a small market, was huge for us, and it just gave us that boost to keep going on. And I'm sort of the grab the bull by the horns. Once I've got hold, I'm not letting go.
Yeah. No, you can definitely tell that. And just on the business side there, because it's definitely revealed a bit there why she's so successful, isn't it? Where people don't see the grind at the start, right? And things like that. Like, I love that. Like, from your past experience, you're just saying you went through a divorce, you had kids, mortgage, all in financially. Yeah. So you had no plan B. What's your advice to anyone thinking of they've got a skill set or value add to the world, but they're just scared to take that leap? What's your biggest experience from just going all in?
I just say back yourself. Like, there's a lot of people that have that sort of risk-averse sort of attitude towards whatever they may do. And I get that too, because fear is what holds you back. And still to this day, like, don't get me wrong, I don't go ever to my workplace and go, wow, I've just got this. Like, it just doesn't happen that way. There's always that fear in the back of my mind as well, because now I have even bigger commitments, you know. Yep. I have staff, I have other families that I'm now responsible for. So that's important to me. But I think you've just got to, if you've got that drive and if you've got that dream, you've just got to back yourself and go for it. And you know what? It could all fall over tomorrow. And I have had some failures in past businesses 20 years ago where, you know, I upped my mortgage to take a risk on a thing and I lost 150 grand within, I don't know, 6 months.
Yep.
But I'm still here now and it's 20 years or more down the track and now there's something else for me to do and I feel success in this particular venture. So I just think you've just got to keep going.
And I'm sure you would have learnt from those mistakes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, again, it's that we've spoken to a few entrepreneurs on this podcast, isn't it? It seems to be a going theme that sort of backing yourself, learning as you go is kind of a big one. Some people don't have it all figured out, but the main thing is you're obviously very passionate about this side. So that seems to, what they say, make passion your paycheck, right?
Well, you say it all the time, Srams, you know, and I guess to Tracey, just to, I guess, finish up on that drive and that constant, you know, having to, you know, make sure that it does work because you've got staff, you've got a much bigger warehouse now, which means rents or repayments are much bigger. How much does that little fear in the back of your mind and that responsibility, how much does that drive you?
It does. It plays an important part, definitely. But I think I have a really amazing team around me. And I think if you can grab good people and surround yourself with that, I think that's another key factor in building a business and moving forward with it. So, yeah, while that fear does drive me a little bit, more what drives me is the passion for interiors and what we do and what we can do to help people achieve what they want to achieve for their families. I think that's the big driver for me, building relationships with people and just seeing the success in what a family, like if we style their home and they earn that extra little bit of profit when they're selling, and often they can be in a difficult financial position. So it's a very stressful time for people. They may be going through their own personal issues and their own family breakdowns or just whatever the situation is. You know, helping those people achieve something that they otherwise wouldn't be able to achieve, that's probably, I would say, the biggest driver for us.
And what about just away from the business side now into more design side? I've seen some of your stuff. I've been through some of the properties. Unreal. Check out Bungalow Home's page on Instagram. Some beautiful aesthetics and whatnot. I think you nail it each time with the seasons and whatnot. Are you on the design side? Like, where do you get your inspiration from, and does it change a lot?
It has evolved over the last few years. It's funny how it does change. There's certain things that I'm using now, or the pieces of furniture that we're selecting, and me and my senior designer, we laugh all the time because even just yesterday we were doing an install in a beautiful property here in Burleigh, and we put some things in there that we would just never have used, possibly even 6 to 12 months ago. Like, we used some ash furniture and we were real big oak freaks, you know, and now we're moving into that ash a little bit. And, you know, there are lots of things that change for you, but I guess you just got to go with what you love. And as far as inspiration, it can be as simple as travel or what's outside or magazines or Instagram. You know, we're all looking for beautiful things. Instagram's so heavily based on imagery and visuals, and that's pretty much what inspires us. And then I just have my own personal aesthetic, and I kind of feel like the people that are going to be drawn to us for us to create what we do for them, they're going to love our look. And if we do what we love for ourselves in our own homes, in somebody else's home, then those correct people will find us somehow, you know.
I was going to ask you about that because I know myself, the older I get, the more I get set in my ways, you know, and you see it with all people that go through different stages of life. I was going to ask you, Tracey, and you probably answered it with your senior designer, you know, how much or how important is it for you to bounce off others, members of your team, given that, you know, you've been in the industry a long time, and as the older you get, there's probably certain things you like or don't like. There's one thing to stay on trend, but there's also the importance of bouncing it off, say, team members and maybe even younger team members, because they're looking at Instagram potentially more than what that older demographic is. How important is that?
That is so important. I tell you, the reels are coming in and all the changes that I go to my girls, okay, what do we do here? How do And I'm not even that old.
That's right.
It's frightening. My senior designer is half my age.
Yep.
But she's fantastic. She's got a great eye, and we really do bounce off each other a lot. And I think that works really well because, you know, me being in that middle-aged bracket and heading in that direction, I can cater towards that market while still being able to do the younger side of things. But she knows what that younger demographic, she's in her, you know, later 20 or mid to late 20s. So from that point of view, she's got that look covered. And then I've got the older demographic because we've got to keep an even keel. I guess too, we don't get swayed too much by trends, because for us to style a property for sale especially, it is more about creating a neutral, you know, home that doesn't polarise the market in any way.
Good point.
And so we don't really follow each trend, because otherwise I would constantly be spending money here, there and everywhere, and you're just jumping and you don't have a particular aesthetic that anyone is attracted to. So we really have that signature modern coastal kind of style. But when we first started, it was very, as I said, boho. And then we went to that earthy organic, and now we're finding that we're really that contemporary coastal, which with all the development going on here on the Gold Coast, you know, that really contemporary coastal lifestyle, it really suits the, you know, the market that we have up here.
So it sounds like it's quite important to, I guess, read the play, like each property have its own feel. Would it be right in saying, like, you assess the property and then you choose the styling off that, is it?
100%. We go into, you know, if there's a particular, let's say, you know, Palm Beach, which is very coastal, and that's going to attract a certain buyer compared to Main Beach, compared to the suburbs or an acreage property. They're all going to have that different look and feel, and then we will select the furniture from our inventory based on that. And so long as, I guess, for us, you know, when we're investing in furniture, we always keep that neutral base, always. And you change the look of it. I can use that same sofa in 20 different jobs. No one will ever pick it because we've done different cushions, different art, different dining table with it, and it changes the look and feel every single time.
Have you got any good stories in recent times, Tracey, where, because as Matt said, we do follow your stuff, and with great interest, I noticed recently Troy Dowker, who was on the podcast with us a few weeks ago, has a really prestige property on top of Currumbin Hill, which I know you did. Tell us about going through properties like that and the difference that can make in an ultimate sale price or experience for a vendor and an agent.
Sure, yeah, we did style that home. It was an amazing home. And I remember going to meet with the owner and the quote, and I walked into that home and she had done a beautiful job in actually renovating the property and designing, and she'd just chosen everything perfectly. Like it looked amazing, but it was empty when I went there. And there were a few challenging sort of angles in a couple of the rooms, and it was one of those homes that if you didn't present it well with furniture and show people how they were going to use particular spaces, there was going to be a bit of confusion for some people, just because it was a rounded front edge of the home, and that created a few angles. And you know, some people will walk in and they can't visualise themselves there. And I walked into that quote and I said to the owner, you've got to give me this property. I have to style this property. And because I just instantly walked in and had a vision of what I would do there. And thankfully she did, and they've had a really good campaign. I mean, it's been on Channel 9 News. It's been one of the most read properties and viewed properties on realestate.com, you know, all of those sorts of things. And the styling does make a difference, because although it was a beautiful home, the furniture just gives it that extra layer.
100%.
Yeah.
How does that experience look when you, sorry to interrupt, Shrams, I was just going to say, when you walk through the door with an agent, you meet the owner, they say, this is Tracey, she's looking at potentially styling. Do you get the owner to walk around with you and say, look, this is what I'm thinking here? Or do you sort of come back at the end and go, thanks for letting me in, this is what I'm thinking? Do you know what I mean? Do you sort of do it on the run, or do you do it to have a meeting at the end?
It depends. Some owners want to come with you right through and, oh, what do you think about this, and should I get rid of this, and you know, because some of them live there. We generally focus on vacant properties, but even when we do go to a property where a family is living, and they're going to move out for the sales campaign, we'll walk through with either the owner, if they're present, or just the agent. We'll discuss with the agent what they want to present the property. If it's a 4-bedroom and a study as compared to, you know, 3 bedrooms, do they want that study or do they want that 4th bedroom? You know, we'll make a judgment call and discuss with the agent what's going to provide more value to a potential buyer and therefore more profit to the vendor.
Yep.
But generally, I will talk the owner through it. And with that particular property in Currumbin, when I was there with the owner, I said, right, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, and this is the vision that I've got. And it just resonated with exactly the vision she had for her own property, because although they're selling, and I guess at that point the emotion comes out of it a little bit for them because they're getting ready to release the property, they still want to know that someone is going to make it look as amazing as they envisioned should they have kept that property, you know. And so I think that's important to give them a bit of an idea, and they may want something a certain way that I don't feel is probably going to work to their benefit, and so we'll also give them that advice and lead them in the right direction based on our experience.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, isn't it? And there was a really good example, actually. I got through one Lux property. I seen some photos prior. Mate, it was a drowned rat home, and it needed a fair bit of work, and it was really cool. I came back and then I got through it before it hit the market, and seen some of Tracey's work there in particular, where they'd done the reno, left it vacant, and then she got in there and started, and that's just sold unconditionally, literally just like a few days ago. I believe at least 200-300K above what it was worth. But
Wow.
when you walked through, they ticked every box in terms of like the lifestyle, like by the pool on that particular property, wasn't it? So is there certain properties where you'll sort of walk through and you'll just know, all right, I've got to touch up this, and this, or like what's that sort of look like for you when you go through a property?
There are a few. Look, if I could post the before and afters on Instagram, wow.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest kick for us too, is the transformation at the end.
Definitely.
And that particular property that you're talking about, yeah, you know, a family was living there. And don't get me wrong, like we all do life. You know, I have dogs, I have kids. You know, it's like the plumber. I don't go home and fix the leaky tap. My home does not look like an interior design showroom. That's not because we live there. That's our home. So I think in that particular example that you're using, we had walked in and they were living there. They had really busy lifestyles. They ran their own business, you know. There was lots going on. They were moving out. There were boxes everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just everything was there. And you know, thankfully for us, we can just walk in. We can see past all of that, but you want to take it all out, start from scratch, and the difference that it made to that property, because it's about creating a lifestyle that someone wants to aspire to live there. We want someone to walk in and go, wow, I feel like this is home. There's an emotional connection immediately for a potential buyer, and so therefore it becomes we will spend to get. And we want them just to want to walk in and put their bags down, and that's the effect that styling should have for a vendor. You know,
Just thinking out loud, like obviously you add a ton of value for real estate agents and their vendors looking to sell to maximise the sale price, as Matt's talking about. What about like on the holiday management side of things, Airbnb, Do you do much in that space, Tracey?
We do, yeah. We've created a few really beautiful Airbnbs, and most of those are always fully booked. We love doing those, so we create a lot of furniture packages for them. We do prize homes for the Surf Life Saving Foundation, so we do a full furniture package where, you know, you get to buy your lottery ticket, and if you're the lucky winner, you get a fully furnished home. I mean, how good is that? So, yeah, it's definitely about creating a vibe in a particular home, and we love doing that for those sorts of people as well. And especially for interstate and international buyers, as I was mentioning, those people don't have time as well to furnish homes, so we get to do those, and we're really happy to work with those people as well.
Interesting.
We were talking off camera about, you know, leaving it to the experts, you know, like obviously you and I, two of the great interior designers. But, you know, and like we're talking about, you know, buyer's agents, you know, people try to do it themselves. They've had a hard day at work, you know, they've worked, you know, get home at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, then they start researching online and they're tired, they're not in the right headspace, they can make a very costly decision. It's the same with styling, isn't it? You go try to do it yourself. Like you said, that thing went for $200,000 to $300,000 above what you were thinking maybe it could have. A little bit of styling, like that is a game changer.
Huge.
Is it really worth the risk of trying to save a little bit of money and doing it yourself? Or do you actually pay an expert, get them in and maximise it?
Maximise. It is right, and that's outsourcing professionals in any industry. I just on that, it made me realise, like I had a crack at my place. And I've done an okay job. You've seen some of it before. I'll have to show you the after, you know, the rugs and everything in there now. I'm curious to know just some value for punters like us who want to style a room. You're looking at a space. What's key? Probably the three biggest things you'll look at. Like, is it the space, the size? Like, what would you look at? Just let us dive into that amazing brain of yours that's got the design.
Okay, so I want to see your home on Instagram.
Yeah,
I'll post some
send
photos.
you. Yeah.
DM me with some photos.
A few rugs, a few minimalist photos, plant in the corner.
Tracy, don't get too excited.
Yeah, so if walking in the home, what are you thinking? Some key tips, top three, you reckon?
All right, excuse me. Top three. Size of the room, of course, you know, because then we've got to scale the furniture accordingly. You don't want to go too big in a small room. But similarly, if it's a small room, you want to scale the furniture properly so that it doesn't feel too full or too empty, because then it can make it look smaller.
Scale's critical, isn't it?
Huge.
Scale is critical.
Yeah.
The second thing is the colour palette of the existing fixtures and fittings, whether it be the
paint
curtains,
and stuff.
the paint, the floorboards or the carpet. So that obviously determines what colour theme or what colour palette we go for in the pieces we select. And then third, I think, is the view. What does that room look out to? So if there's no great view, then we've got to create some real wow factor in that room so that they don't realise they're looking out to a brick wall at the neighbour's fence.
True.
How do you do that?
By choosing some really amazing
artwork.
Pieces, some great artwork, and just incredible, just everything's incredible. The rugs, the cushions, the lounge, the bed, whatever it happens to be.
Just don't look outside, guys.
Draw their focus away, or put up some beautiful sheer curtains and just hide that particular sore point. But if there is an amazing view, on the flip side of that,
you don't want to
overdo it, and you want to. While styling is really important and what we do is really important, the good stylists will create style in the home that still allows your eye to travel past the furniture. Yeah, they're going to see it, they're going to notice it, and they're going to love it, but they're not going to miss out on, I'm actually on an oceanfront apartment here. You know what I mean? That's what they have to notice, because that's the selling point. Not the furniture. We're not selling the furniture. We're selling the property, the view, the lifestyle of whatever that particular home offers.
Unreal.
So that's important.
That was a masterclass in itself.
Masterclass. It was good. I was going to ask you, Tracey, when you switch on Channel 9 and watch The Block and you watch the judges come in at the end of each week, and you've obviously looked at what the contestants have done and then how the judges critique them. Like, are you always on the same page as the judges? Are you thinking, I could totally disagree with what they're saying? Like, where do you land on that?
A lot of the time, it's not that I disagree with them. I just think that everyone has a different perspective.
Yep,
true.
But yeah, look, they are very experienced interior designers. They're amazing at what they do, and a lot of the time I do agree with what they say. But there's a lot of the time where their favourite choice, and I think, no way, that's not my favourite choice. And then you get onto socials and you see everyone's commentary, and everyone's got a different opinion, you know. So I guess that comes down to your personal preference and what your aesthetic is. But yeah, I might not be as harsh as some of them sometimes. But hey, there's a lot of money at stake on those shows, isn't there? So, well, and as there is when we're styling a property. So from our perspective, we also need to go in like those judges and critique. And sometimes we have to have some pretty hard conversations with vendors and go, you know, your lounge just isn't cutting it. And they'll, but I've got this piece of furniture that you can use and this piece. No, take it all out, because we want to create a completely cohesive look for you, and every single room. It's not just about making the lounge room and the dining room look amazing. If that doesn't speak to your bedrooms, because we've got all of your furniture in those rooms, people are going to walk in and realise they're going to go from wonderland to, oh, where am I now? And we don't want that, you know.
That's huge. Yeah, that's actually very true. I've got through some property and you can tell they've half styled it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, it's beautiful living area and whatnot. I go in the room and it's like the Subaru WRX like bed cover.
That's
and
right.
The Kmart lamp and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's you're actually so right now that I think about it. Yeah, and it's sort of you kill the ride of the whole experience.
Well, you do, because when you go in and you can see a beautiful space, you know, the dollar signs are adding up and you're going, wow, it's a premium property and I really want this property. Then you go into those bedrooms or the second or third living room and you're right, they've got the Kmart bits and pieces and all of a sudden they're way hitting back down at reality, that potential buyer of, oh yeah, this isn't anything that I couldn't do myself kind of thing. And so it's not special to them anymore. You're not creating that emotional connection. So I think styling a home fully, or if you're not styling it fully and you just want to focus on your key areas, leave the other rooms vacant. If they're not small, tiny rooms that pose a difficulty to a potential buyer bringing up an issue with that room, then leave it vacant and just focus on the main key areas for photography.
I was going to say, what would that be? Limited budget? If someone said, Tracey, I've got a limited budget, I want to style though, to some point you'd say, leave these rooms vacant, but put your money towards this. What would that be, you think?
100%, yeah. A lot of the time it is down to budget.
Yeah.
And I think as well, look, if someone's not fully on board, you know, often you've got a couple where the wife says, this is a great idea, we've got to style, or the agent says, you've got to style this property to get a premium. And the wife or the husband are like, I don't believe in the value of styling until they've actually experienced it. You know, I think that's important. But generally it would come down to budget. And I really think that it's important just to focus on your key areas, because at the end of the day, what gets people, buyers through and people like you want to see the photos of that. And if it's presented beautifully, you're going to ring your client and go, wow, I've got a cracker and we can get in before it hits the market officially with the agent. So let's do that. And if it looks amazing, then it makes your job easier as well.
It does, yeah, for sure.
It's the old saying, isn't it? You only get one chance at a really good first impression.
Yeah.
I think that
true,
sums it up. So what about for you, Tracey? What's next? You've got a little holiday coming up, I believe.
I do. I'm heading to Fiji in a couple of weeks to get
good.
married. So
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you.
That's
I'm
awesome.
pretty excited
Bit
about
of
that.
inspo over there or what as well? Or
Well, I've never been.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
yeah, my fiance's been, but he went, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
so I'm sure it's changed since then.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that tropical vibe, I mean, I've got a little bit of a tropical coastal feel going on in my interiors. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting over there. But quite frankly, I'm just looking forward to turning the phone off and having a holiday.
I bet. And moving forward, where do you think the style space is going? Is there anything that's standing out in terms of trends or styles at the moment, you think?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of neutral colours coming in through furniture as well, where it always used to be either timber or white. Now there's some really exciting colour palettes coming through. The fabrics are changing, like boucle is obviously quite popular at the moment, but there's some really beautiful fabrics that are coming through. So curves are obviously very in at the moment, be it from architecture or curved dining tables, things like that. We put an amazing curved sofa into this oceanfront apartment yesterday, so I can't wait to film that later on today. And, you know, so all of those sorts of things are definitely very, very trendy at the moment, but I think they're going to stay around for a while as well. Look, my advice is always stick as neutral as you can in your big core pieces. You know, if you're wanting to furnish or if you're wanting to even just style your home, if you don't have the budget to get a professional in, use neutral pieces and then work up from there, you know, add the colour in on top of that.
So go the big pieces, neutral, and work from that.
Because they stay timeless. You
Yeah,
know?
true.
And you know what? Invest in decent quality pieces as well. I mean, look, there's a market. We all started, you know, buying our furniture from some of the retailers when we were younger. And yeah, but, you know, buy quality.
I was 21 when I got my first place and blank canvas, went straight to Super A-Mart.
I knew it. I
So
knew
did
it.
Decked out head to toe. I was like, how good's this?
I stayed there too. I stayed there too. Believe me, it was a bright blue lounge. And I'm horrified. I look back at it and go, God, what was I thinking?
The identical pieces, head to toe, the whole house. It was like it was a matching show.
Yeah, we don't do matchy.
Yeah.
That's not on.
Yeah, I realised that wasn't, when I got into more experience with property, that's not cool to match everything.
No, it's so not cool.
I can imagine your OCD with those lenses. Oh wow, It'd be next level. What about when you get back, Trace? You'd be a big run into that Christmas period.
Yeah, this is our peak season. Actually, funnily enough, winter was always a quiet period for us, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and now it's becoming a busy season. But definitely August, September, October.
Yeah,
you know, that spring
100%.
season. It's definitely happening.
So if people want to get hold of you and actually get something happening in that spring, summer season, they need to get in line quickly.
100%. Yeah, we do sort of have a bit of a waiting list as far as being booked out. We are, you know, we're not doing, there are lots of people that do, 5-6 homes a week in their property styling businesses. We've chosen to go a bit of a different route. We do cater more towards that prestige market, and so, we have limited spaces per month that we can sort of install and do that in amongst what we're doing for our prize home people and our furniture package people. So we're really busy, but definitely, they've got to get in pretty quickly. Within not just with us, but with any professional stylist that is in demand.
Yes.
If someone can take on a job within 24 hours these days, I'd be worried about what they're able to do for you, and that's in every state, whether it be Victoria, Sydney, here. The good ones are booked out, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. Just before we wrap up, Tracy, interested to know, right? I had this rug, and it was too big.
Here we go.
It was beautiful rug, and then I jumped on like the Pinterest and that, and I didn't realize you can put your couch over the rug. So I had my couch there, then the rug there, and I was just like, this is a huge rug. And then I put the couch over the rug, and it looks all right. Like, I'm just curious to know, is there anything that, like, some sort of tip or something that, like, in the styling space where you're like, you can actually do this to maximize this, or don't be scared of putting that in a certain corner? Is there any key tips there?
100%. So you're right, exactly that. I've got 3 really good tips. First of all, don't put your cushions on the diamond, on the corner. You know what I'm saying? You know how you walk into those really cheap motels and someone...
Yes.
We styled a home once. We left it so beautiful, and then, I don't know, maybe the photographer had come in and someone had played around with some things, and I'm not kidding you, all of the cushions had been put on the diamond. I was horrified because I thought, oh my God, people are going to think that we did that. And we didn't. And there were swan towels on the bed.
Oh, the swan towels.
So the swan towels, 2 swan towels kissing
Love that.
on the bed in the master bedroom. And people would think that I did that. I was horrified. So that's tip number 1. Do not put your cushions on the diagonal, and don't do swans on your bed. That's number 1. Okay, number 2, the rug thing. Always have the 2 front legs of your sofa on the rug. At the very minimum. Like, you can have it even more on the rug, but don't sort of leave space of floor between your rug and your sofa, because your rug is that sort of grounding space in any room. It's the area that you start from, and then you layer up on top of that. But always pull your thing, your piece of furniture on there. Definitely.
Great tip.
Because even if it's a really large rug, you can make it look a bit smaller, or you can make it look a room look more spacious with the right size rug. So that's key as well, choosing the right size rug.
Yeah.
And third would be, don't push all your furniture to the walls. Feel free to
like that.
Float your furniture in the middle of the room, because some rooms don't have a wall to put your sofa on or your entertainment unit or whatever it happens to be. I mean, obviously you're not going to float your entertainment unit in the middle of the room, but your sofas and stuff, everyone likes to push their furniture to the outside walls, and then all of a sudden you've got this great big cavernous space in the middle of the room and it doesn't feel connected or cozy or inviting. You're trying to create a bit of a seating community for guests and friends and family to sit and chat. And so, float those items in the middle of the room. Bring them off the walls a bit. Use your artwork to fill the walls.
Yes.
Bit of a big pot plant in the corner.
Oh,
Mate,
I'm going to send you a photo.
Love a pot
Rug, pot plant, fiddle in the corner, and I've got the one piece of artwork. So
Tracy, if you need any males in your business, Matthew Srama is available. He's outstanding. Who would have known he was such a good interior designer?
I just everything she was saying. It's funny. I went through that journey of like, wow, like the rug. Should have seen this rug. It seemed my house was carpeted. I was like, it was that big, and I was like, what have I done? Yeah. And then jumped on like Pinterest and stuff, and it seems like a common thing. You put the legs over the rug.
Bring your and then you've got your occasional chairs. So a couple of little occasional.
Unreal.
Have you got occasional chairs, Matt?
An ottoman. Is that what they call it?
Well, an ottoman is an ottoman, and an occasional chair is a chair.
It's actually a chair. You wouldn't read about it.
I tell you what you can do if you've got a nice round ottoman, like a quite low one. If it's sort of only about 30 centimetres high, you can nest your ottoman underneath your coffee table. So it nests in the middle of your room to sort of fill the space on your rug, and then you can pull the ottoman out and have more seating for guests when they come.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a tip for you.
Smart. Not a first rodeo.
Yeah, not. It seems, because I've seen some of your stuff. It's got that minimalist feel as well. So I'm assuming that's clutter's not.
Well, that's exactly right. That would be another really good piece of advice for people is just declutter. Get rid of as much of your own personal life and, the family photos and all of those bits and pieces. You want people to walk into any home and see themselves there and not you. Definitely declutter, go that minimal look. And you know what? You don't have to fill your couch with 20 cushions either. These days, just 2 or 3 cushions just placed perfectly with the chop, the chop.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to do the chop.
Yeah.
So, that's the winning sofa.
Great. Unbelievable.
There you go. Yeah. Some very good lessons for us blokes with no idea.
Something that annoys me is too many throwovers. I walk in some houses and they've got throwover 1, 3 on the leg there, and then 1 over there, and there's blankets everywhere. So
I'd like to throw
just
it
keep
over
it simple. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Don't overdo it. A throw on the bed, sure, but we don't even put a throw on every single bed, and sometimes not even on the lounge. Sometimes really structured look is nice, but it just comes down to whatever style it is, whether it's relaxed, coastal or whatever. But not too many throws, because then it's sort of like, what are they trying to hide here?
The bloody diamonds. I've seen your couch, mate.
Diamonds in the swamp.
No diamonds at my place.
The only diamond is a good diamond is on your finger.
On your ring, which you're lucky enough to have. All right, should we hit her with the fast 5? Hey, before we jump to our last, just want to acknowledge you, Tracy. Some of those tips, Crossy, unreal. I got a lot out of that. I actually really enjoy interior design. I definitely want to learn more, but absolute masterclass there for both buyers, sellers, and agents. I think we'll get a lot of value out of this.
Definitely. No, thank you so much for
Pleasure.
Your advice, Tracy, because us males certainly need it. And as Matt said, that'll add a heap of value, because we do get a lot of agents listen, and a lot of people in that property space. And the Gold Coast, it's so intertwined, that property market, the interior design space, isn't it? It's all connected, especially now with the way social media has gone. So thanks so much for coming in.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me.
Just believe in it. I get through property on the daily, and it makes a huge, huge difference with my clients' feedback on property. For some reason, they always love the ones that have been styled. I don't know whether that's coincidence or not. So if you want to attract a profit, good price, you need to invest, right? So Tracey, our fast five, first thing that comes to mind, it can be any location, any dwelling type in the world. So first one is, where's the holiday home? Any dwelling type, any location worldwide.
Santorini.
Oh, really? Yep.
Greece, or Italy. I could do that too. But yeah, just those beautiful coastal villages.
One of those white little villa
overlooking
things.
the ocean.
Yeah.
My goodness,
Looks nice.
Yeah.
What would you fill that little villa with? Like, just give us a quick, like the curved furniture or more that Greek sort of.
No, it'd be neutral. It'd be relaxed. It'd be beautiful oak tones, whites, fresh neutral fabrics. It'd just be incredible. And you know what? I think I'd just be out on the veranda looking at the view, so I really wouldn't care what was inside.
Love it. Not you don't want to overpower the view.
No, correct.
Furniture.
It's good
That's
advice.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Love that.
We're learning.
Yeah, we're learning. Next one is investment property worldwide, a bit of a cash cow. Where would you put your money? Just a property, any dwelling type in the world.
I would come to you, Matt, and find out where the best capital growth is, or where the best place is to be buying right now. You know what? Australia.
Yeah.
That's where I would do
Safe.
it. I would do it here in my own home country, and I'd just talk to the professionals and find out what's going to be the best investment.
Yep.
Isn't that the way to do it, you know, when you're taking that risk?
It is a good economy, Australia. We are actually pretty blessed, hey. We are in a really strong economy market, hey.
Big time.
Really good. Next one is pre-wedding, the girls' hens party. You know, where's this? Anywhere in the world.
Oh, hens party. Oh.
And what sort of dwelling type are we talking?
Clearly, I haven't had a hens party
was
because
gonna
I'm having to
ask.
think about it. I'm a little old for the hens party thing these days. Look, definitely Europe.
Yeah.
Would be amazing. Malta, I'd love to go to Malta. That's
Never had that one.
No.
Ah.
yeah, Malta is incredible. There,
Okay.
Italy, Greece again,
Yep.
like anywhere over that way.
Yeah.
Be great.
Yeah. And do you have any idea where the forever home will be and what type of home that will be?
We're renovating a farm at the moment
Oh,
out
wow.
in the Lamington National Park. We're going to create an Airbnb out there, but eventually
beautiful.
I guess that's where we'll end up, it's a beautiful old farmhouse on big acreage. So we're really looking forward to that. Or I really don't mind Sunshine Coast. I don't mind up
common
there.
one.
Yeah, I love that area too. It's really relaxing and I feel good when I'm there. So anywhere near the water or in the country, but I'd say the country would win out a little bit.
Interesting. Hey, it's a common one. Hey, we've had a few people when we asked that farm. Actually, I can think of probably 5 that have said the same thing. The farm thing, and you're seeing on the block now they've gone
Totally.
they've gone full farm. Are you noticing that, like that whole space, the barn door look and all that sort of stuff coming in?
Look, I think the barn door, that has been happening for a while, even here on the coast, and I feel like that's sort of, it's still popular, of course, and it's still got its place, but I think that more modern, contemporary kind of vibe is coming through now, that really luxe kind of space without being too over the top. But yeah, by all means, the barn door, you can never go past the barn door. I've got actual fair income old barn doors that are falling apart. So they're the barn doors that I'm familiar with at the moment.
How good.
Yeah.
And just lastly, Tracey, what's your biggest tip for buyers out there? Obviously, you've got a bit of a history in the real estate space as a sales agent. You've bought, renovated, and now you're in the game every day of the week. What's some key tips for buyers, you think?
Look, I think, being that of what you guys do, I think find someone that you trust to give you the right advice on finding that right home. And I mean, if you're looking for yourself, great. Obviously, you're going to try and find a home that you fall in love with, that resonates with you and your family. But definitely getting in touch with a buyer's agent. I think that really does help, because I think, as we were discussing before we started recording today, I'm about to look for my own investment properties, and I'm thinking, well, I'll give Matt a call, because I don't know what's going on in Victoria or Western Australia or wherever. So especially from an investment point of view, if you're not familiar with a particular area, go to a professional, get them to help you find that right place that suits your circumstances at the time. I think that's really important.
Overarching thing, outsourcing help.
Totally.
Same in the styling
Yep.
space. So, mate, cracker that one.
It was good. Hopefully that's added a heap of value. I know it has for us
Huge.
individuals, but great. lot of knowledge there, years of experience across
Thanks,
different
guys.
fields, and yeah, thanks so much.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. And really good tips as well from the business side. You've done really, really well. So you should be very proud. So,
so
keep an
glad.
eye out for Bungalow Home. Also, will the name stay the same after married, or changing the name now? Or
Got to change the name. I'm a bit of a
Like it.
traditionalist.
Like it.
Can't be can't be married and
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
not share the name. Each to their own. I might add.
Yeah, that's right.
But for me,
Yeah.
I'm a traditionalist. I'll be changing the name.
Okay. So Tracey, Bungalow Home, and TBA on the last name.
surname.
Yeah. Thanks for having. Thanks for coming
guys. My pleasure. Send me some photos of your rug. I want to
Definitely.
see it all styled.
You will do.
Enjoy Fiji.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Thanks, guys.
No worries.
Cheers.
Thanks.